All right, let's start today's session. So today what we're going to cover, pretty much we're going to continue to talk about the advanced techniques in Selenium. So what exactly you can do with that if you need like specific, perform specific actions. So, well, we'll do our retro planning as usual. And after that, we're going to talk a little bit more about frames, specifically about iframes and how can you interact with them. After that, we're going to cover the JavaScript executor and cookies, window size, and table grids. Actually, in this, today I'm not going to touch table grids. It will be like part of your homework, how to do that. All right, and as usually, retro. Let me put a link. Well, let me create a board first, and I will send you a link where you can fill it out. Alrighty. Alright, guys, I sent you a link. You can go there. So, like as usually, you can add the notes, what went well, what can be improved, and action items. While you're doing that, let me see if I can find another one from the previous week. All right, here is actually our board from the previous one, right? And here was the action items. Rotate the team and put Mike in the middle of table. So we've done that. And we did rotation of the teams. Do you guys have any other questions? Or do you feel like that's some of the things that we missed to do? No? All righty. And this one is our current one. All right, guys, I'll give you a few more minutes. And we can start to go over. All right, guys. Let's go through it. So let's start with positive things. So great stand-ups. Thanks to move us from team 1. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Interesting and useful classes. Love it. Thank you. We appreciate your feedback here. All right. So what went not so bad? Some big topics need more examples. Be more ready for class sessions. Sometimes it takes time for teacher to show example. Yeah, so basically you are saying that you need, you asking me to write code, right? For some of the topics, or like what do you, who can like elaborate on that? Just to make sure you understand, like I understand your concern correctly.
Yeah, it's me. Hello.
Okay.
It looks like I'm just, maybe you don't have much time because you're working there, just, and if you will give us a little bit more examples like to understand, some big, topics, subjects, will be better just because it looks like sometimes take more time for for figure out how to write the clear code or something else.
Okay. So what's the topic that you think that you like we haven't covered? We haven't covered completely.
We covered, but for example, which one? For example, with lists, it wasn't clear. There's no problem with understanding. Just we took a lot of time to figure out how to write the code. There, just like example.
Oh, I see. Okay, so your concern is that we are spending too much time when we write the code, like to debug it and to do all of the stuff?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a good one. I will try to be more focused on that one. And to see. All right.
Yeah. Thank
you. A lot of reading this week. You didn't like it, guys?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I didn't read whole things, honestly. It's maybe just a mind problem. It just was really a lot of information on this link. It's full tutorial with a bunch of links when you want to go there and read it. So I got the basic idea, but I didn't read like everything. Probably I should do it later. It takes time to understand every word in those tutorials.
Yeah, I actually wanted to give you like exercises with list, but I didn't want to overwhelm you because you guys have still a backlog from the previous sprints. So I just thought like if you like go over and understand the differences, what kind of like hash maps exist in Java, like list types. So it's maybe like useful for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good that we have all of those information for those who has time to read and understand whole picture of it. But I just didn't read me personally.
I see. Code review and merge request take so long. Yeah, so basically after like even you complete the code, it still needs to be reviewed by your teammate, right? So you need to find a person who will have some bandwidth to review it. And then it comes to me and I need to find a time to find it and review by myself. I mean, yeah, but it's the same thing in the work. Once you work in a company, it's the same thing. Like sometimes I have my pull requests waiting for days because nobody like have some time and I need to like ping someone. So the only way to do that is just to ping, like maybe every day, like, hey, you forgot to check it. Could you do it, please? And yeah.
What I want to add to this ticket is probably you have to keep it in mind with a sprint. That it's basically almost impossible to close the ticket with all the code review and merging during this sprint, because like let's take it will take a couple days to write the code, then a couple days to review it, and a couple days to merge it, and it's just not enough days during this week sprint.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the problem, but honestly, I don't think how can we like resolve it. Like the only way just to ping someone and to be like try to finish it fast. Like, I mean.
And I think we can move uncompleted story to another sprint. I mean, if it's done but just not merged, we can go to the next.
Yeah, well, like you see, it's not like finished until it's merged to the master, right? Until it's production.
Yeah.
So we still need to go over and check. Like it's done like when it's merged. While it's not merged, like it's not done. Yeah. So that's probably why. All right. Any suggestion for action items here, guys? How do you guys decide who will do code review for you? On stand-ups or?
How I did it last time, I asked in our team chat who can review it, and then I assigned to that person my merge request. So, but Alex should review it, but he was busy during the day, and while during this time, Mehmet reviewed because he had time. So I'm really glad that it was pretty quickly.
Okay, I see.
I don't know actually if there is a way to change the assigned person in merge request.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, just to change like a name and it's
so basically we can assign it to anyone first, and then wherever, like whoever.
You can leave it empty, basically. You don't have to do it right away.
Okay.
Actually, the person who will do code review can assign himself. I mean, it's not really important, like as long as it's done, like you can like not even assign to anyone. Right? All right. So the last one, could we see you both on the session as attendee gives more information? Well, yeah, we're trying to do that, but sometimes we have like other things. So like Dennis, like right now, like finishing on some of the other things, and yeah, we will try to do it. We will try to do that. So you will have like both insights from me and from Dennis. Yeah. So action item would be, I mean, actually can move it here. All right. Anything else, guys? Any more feedbacks? No? All right, perfect. So we finish with that. There wasn't much notes actually, but there like was some of the important ones. So I'm glad you pointed out. All right, planning. So let me open our Jira. Here, go to the board, automation board, backlog. All right. So back to the coding, guys. Yeah, so your first task would be, do you remember our actions topics that we covered on Thursday, I believe? When we did like actions, moved mouse, released it, and did stuff. So basically you will need to create one test case on deans.com using like any action methods, just to practice. All right? Does it make sense, guys? You don't have any like test case. You basically just, I mean, you don't have to create one. You can just go straight and automate something using actions.
Also, we can recreate already existing test cases.
No, I wouldn't do that. I will probably create a new one, which will be like more relevant to this. Yeah, so you will like use it not because you wanted to use it, but you will use it because you need to use it. Yeah. All right, how many points, guys, do you think?
2.
Two. All right. Any other ideas?
Azad, by actions, do you mean scrolling or something like that?
No, actions is basically moving mouse to the element or clicking on it, holding on it, drag and drop, like only this.
Okay.
For scrolling, it's a JavaScript part. That's the next task. All right. So how many guys? 2, 1. Any other ideas, suggestions?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, let's leave it as a 2. Perfect. The same thing for switch windows. Just to create one test case when you will interact with multiple windows. All right. One of the example would be as I showed you on the first day. We actually open it. Like you can basically check these links. If you, okay, maybe not this one, but like block for sure, it will open another window. All right. This one should be easier than the actions because you basically just switching one window to another in your test case, so you don't look like any complex steps. I would say I don't think this would be a problem for you to do that.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same thing what we did on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep. JavaScript executor. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it today as well. So we briefly cover it on Thursday when we scroll to the element. Yes, I'm gonna talk about it today a little bit more to remind you how to do that. But I know like already some of you use it on their test cases. Like let's say if they want to scroll to the element before click on it, so they did that, but you can also like add one test case where you use a JavaScript executor. All right. How many points, guys?
2.
All right. Why it's 2?
It just carries how JavaScript executor.
I mean, yeah, but basically what you will need to do, you will need to use the built-in Selenium method, which will run the JavaScript in your browser. And basically it's kind of like, you're kind of like using one programming language inside of another one. You're just like passing it as a string. But like JavaScript, it's actually another programming language. So you can like basically create a full framework using JavaScript itself, right? But in your case, I don't ask you to write like huge logic there. You just need to, I don't know, maybe like trigger alert or do something else. I don't know, maybe scroll, like good example, something like that.
Yeah, then it's gonna be 1. I'm good to go. What do you think? 1?
1 is fine. Online people, just to make sure you're still following us.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, perfect. Create test case for mobile view. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but please, sardines.com, it's actually has responsive web design, right? And if I open the mobile view, you see UI. You see UI is different, right? We don't have a login button here anymore. We don't have a sign up button anymore. So all we have here is just this hamburger menu. and we need to click on it, and only after that these buttons will appear. All right. Yeah. So you will need to. So how can you open the mobile view, guys? What would be your thoughts? How can you do that? I could say if you want to get this hamburger menu.
I think we can maximize the window, and probably it's some method that bring the
Squeeze it.
yeah.
Yeah. That's basically how you will do that. I will cover it today. We're gonna talk more about how to do that, but basically after that you will need to create like mobile view tests. All right.
And it can be the same test case just for mobile view.
Yes. You will. Well. Yeah, it's maybe the same test case for mobile view. You just need to name it. It's like for mobile. All right. All right. How many points, guys? What do you think?
1.
The same logic, the same idea. The only difference is here is just the size of your browser. Make sense? How many points? 1, 2. All right. All right. So we don't hear anything from the online people. I will assume they agree with that as well. So how to handle table grids? So this is basically an article that you will need to go through and see. I actually wanted to check it on the DIMS, but I wasn't able to find any good examples here. So you can basically go over to read to understand the logic. How can you interact with tables? Yeah, you can use their example. But basically the idea here, if you have a table, how can you basically grab all the elements? How can you interact with them? And how can you access? And yeah. You can practice if you want, but you don't have to do like anything here. It's just like for yourself to understand how it works. All right. Less reading, but still reading. Right. How many points, guys?
1.
1.
Okay. Do you guys agree?
Okay.
All right, 1 point. Perfect.
I think it didn't save the points for this.
Oh yeah, I don't. No, it's actually need to refresh, I believe. All right, perfect. So let's finish our advanced techniques today for Selenium, so we can like move forward. Let me get back to our presentation, which is here. All right. So frames. Yeah, we just haven't time to cover it on Thursday, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about it today. Do you guys know what the frame is? iframe elements. Do you know? Yeah. What is that? What?
It's like different websites on the website, like kind of part of one page inside of the other page, something.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I would say it's basically the element on the HTML which contains like as a full separate tree. So it will start with iframe, and it will have like a header, footer, and everything from the end, from the beginning to the end. And here is a trick. How once you will like work with iframes, here's a trick, because Selenium can say, I mean, it can identify the iframe, but it cannot work under the iframe. So it can identify the element, but let's say if you have, like in this example, like if you're on this page and if you have this iframe, right? you can identify that it's actually present, but if you want to click, like, I don't know, like sign in button, create an account button, menu item, or anything here, using like a standard methods, you cannot do that. So basically, the only way how you can interact with that, it's using special switch to frame, like switch to and frame method. Idea is the same as we use for different windows, right? When we switch to the window, did something, like did perform some actions, verified some elements, and the same idea here. So you're switching to frame, doing something there, and you will need to switch back and check something, right? But this will be like different, like completely different entity where you will need to work. All right, so this is actually, this is like a simple code snippet. So here, just pay your attention to this line. Again, like here's actually different ways to identify frame. Some of them may have kind of like identification locators, like IDs or classes or something else. So you just, again, like as I said, you just need to use switch to and the frame, and find the frame by their attributes, or you will need to find the frame by the index. Because sometimes on the website, there may be different frames, like 3 of them, and you will need to explicitly tell Selenium which frame you want to access, all right? So let's actually go to the, let's move it down. Let's refresh it, and let's open the inspector, which is here. Right, let me maximize it. Perfect. All right, let's see how many iframes we have here. All right, so okay, let's use xpath, so it will identify, like, it will point only frames. So we have 2 frames, right? This one and this one. Wow. Oh, okay, I believe, yeah. So this is the second frame. It's basically under another frame, so it's kind of like a tree, right? Let's see where is the first one. The first one is identify. It's somewhere in the bottom, but it's probably so probably here is a frame which is hidden from the users. That's why you cannot see them here. But maybe like after some of the actions here, it will appear for the users. It will expand it, or maybe they use frame for different reasons. I don't know. But the thing is, we cannot see it here. All right, let's go to our Test Pro website. Have you guys seen our new website already? Okay, if you haven't, there's a lot of elements, they're all dynamic, a lot of things, and the important thing is we have this map, right? And this map is also iframe. If I inspect it, and let me search for the frame as well. Iframe. Yeah, all the frames have identification in HTML. It's named iframe. All right, so you see we have 5 frames on our website. Let's see, where are they? So the first one is the map itself, right? This is a full map. It's completely one frame. All right, the second thing is some hidden frame probably. third one is yeah, I don't know what is this one. Is probably maybe like part of the like another frame or hidden frame. So this one is well, it's also.
Oh, it's that small map, I guess.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you see, like this is a completely new frame, like under another frame. And the last one is oh no, I believe this one is for a small one, and the top one is for yeah. Is this like a so this is a Google Maps, right? And they're using like really complex patterns, complex how they build actually their website, and that's why they maybe like multiple frames, and they can create a separate frame for some of the elements. And yeah, all right. So let's switch back to the first frame. I believe it's actually when I checked, I remember I saw one frame which has a ID. Let me find it. Let me find this element. Let me check which ID I use here. All right. Yeah, perfect. So this is the ID for the map itself. I mean, so for some of the parts, it's like has ID, and as we can see here, if we will scroll up a little bit, we will see body. Okay, we'll go up and up and up and up, and well, maybe I missed it somewhere. All right, guys. So I'm pretty sure we've missed it, but the thing is, HTML here. Oh yeah, this is this iframe. So we basically have ID of the element, which is under a frame, right? Let's say it has a identification map div, right? And let's say we want to identify it using like Selenium in our scripts. All right, so let's try to write a code to access this ID element. Yeah, I believe it's for this header part of this map. Maybe for this one. All right, so let me open the IntelliJ ID. Okay, let's go here. So we don't need this one. Oh, it's really hard. Can you guys see it? Or something? Is it good? All right, perfect. All right, so before I will start to write the code, so first of all, I need to go to the master branch, right? So let me go to my repo folder first, which is repo, and here begins automation. All right, so I'm on my repo. So now let me check if I have any files that I haven't committed. Yeah, here's a few of them. So I don't actually need them, so probably we can delete it. Well, this is actually from our Thursday class, right? I probably forgot to. Probably I forgot. Okay, let's just delete it. And this one is discard. Perfect. All right, so I'm not on the master, right? I'm on a different branch. Let me open here, go git checkout master. All right, so I own the master right now, and what it's saying here, it's saying that my master branch is behind from the master, which is on GitLab, by 38 commits, right? And what should I do now? How can I update my local master? Exactly, I will need to perform git pull. And yeah, so it showed me everything that it's added, and right now I should be good to go. Yeah, perfect. So you see it says I'm up to date, everything is perfect. And we can start, we can actually create new branch here and name it as, I don't know, Selenium Advanced. This is the same thing for you guys. Like, I know you're working with your 5 test cases. Maybe some of you work on refactoring already. Maybe some of them like working on the fine elements. For each task, create a new branch and work on it. You can like basically like theoretically you can work on the 5 tasks at the same time, just using code from the first one, add the code in the second one, do the same thing. For the third branch, you can work on the Selenium Advanced things, and so on and so on.
And once it's merged to master, we can delete it.
Yeah, you can delete the branch because you already have the changes on the master. Make sense, guys? All right. All right, back to our IntelliJ IDE. Let me actually open it here. Perfect.
Azad.
All right, so let's create a new class.
Azad, do you hear me?
Somebody questioned me.
Someone question me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Alex.
Really?
You know, hello?
Alex, he doesn't hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
Can you guys hear us? Anyone can say something?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Like online people?
Yes, we do.
Yes, they can hear you. But he cannot hear him.
Oh, we cannot hear them.
You need to turn on.
Oh, okay.
His mic.
I see. Yeah, thank you for letting us know. Oh, this should be working.
I'll say something.
Can you guys say something online people?
Ras.
Nope. All right, let's switch to my laptop speaker. All right, can you guys say something?
Ras.
Perfect.
Azad, I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the moment, master, it misses a lot of files, right? And some
that you mentioned.
commits.
Right.
Yeah, and if we will start to create new branches, our advanced branches, right? From master, we will miss all that improvements that you did.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, how about to merge my branch at least?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we will do that. Okay, let's cover it first, and then we will merge your branch.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but your one is ready, right? You said you created merge request.
Yes, I created one, but after we merge my branch, yeah. Maybe we will miss something from Alexei, Alexco, and Mamet, because their two merges were before I created my branch.
All right, that's a good point. All right, let's do it now. So we won't forget about it later. So let's go to the GitLab. All right, yes, automation. Pull request. I believe it's somewhere here. Request. Is it this one, the top one?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, let's review your changes then. So all you did is you just added everything that was missed, right?
You know, here in this list, I don't see these profiles, and probably after we solve a conflict, they will appear. The missed files. If you scroll up the whole window, you will see that there is a merge conflict. No, scroll up higher. Here, you see the merge is not active. Yeah, and it doesn't let me solve conflicts here. It says that you don't have rights.
Really?
Yes.
You have so you're doing it from your branch, right, to the master?
Yes.
Like, what do you mean it doesn't have the right? Like, it's saying you don't have rights. Just when you check out and try to pull changes.
Yes, it literally said. I sent you this picture. It literally says, resolve these conflicts or ask someone with right access to this repository to merge it locally.
Okay. I see. So we will need to resolve the merge conflicts as well, probably. All right, guys. Yeah, let's cover what's today's topic, and then we'll get back to it.
Okay.
All right, so where we start? Okay, so yeah, I created a branch, and I opened source tree. Another source tree is IntelliJ IDE, right? So first of all, let me create a new class. Let's name it Advanced Examples Tests.
Charges за sales tax, типа если...
All right, someone was on mute probably. All right, let's add it to the Git. Okay, perfect. So let me actually grab some of the test cases. All right, let's copy, paste this one, add it here. And copies, let's delete this one. And what we are missing here. So we need to keep the annotation. We need to initiate the browser, right? So WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Here we don't need this part. What else we need to do is just to add implicit wait probably. I believe it should be somewhere here. Oh, we don't have it here. Okay. Oh, perfect. Let's copy that and add it here as well. All right, so let's actually move this part below. And so okay, so the first step, if we want to use a test pro example, we will need to go to the test pro website, right? Test pro. Let me go here. Let me edit here. All right. So we are on test pro, right? And let's say we want to locate this ID element, right? Okay, let's do it. How would we do it? Like for the not iframe elements, right? So we will need to say driver, find the element by CSS selector, and pass CSS selector. And because this is an ID, as you guys remember, probably we use a special character, which is a pound sign to identify ID of the element. We can actually I can copy this one and paste here. All right, let's stop here. Let me just to have a breakpoint, copy this line, set a breakpoint. Let's try to run in debug mode.
Semicolon. You forgot one. From the
No. Okay. One more time. Yes.
So that's the problem. I always, forgetting to.
No, I don't need that. All right, guys, it opens the browser here. So we set a 15 seconds timeline for implicit wait. So it will basically wait 15 seconds until it fails, right? It's failing because it's like not able to identify this element. Okay, let's wait until it's finished to be sure about that. Perfect. So it failed in 21 seconds, right? Which is a lot. Like we need to put less time to be failed. So it says no such element exception, like element is not present, right? Because again, because it's under a frame, and first of all we will need to switch to the frame first. All right, let's try to do that. Let's switch to. Oh yeah, here is another thing. Do you guys remember how many frames were there?
5.
5? Yes. And let me go back here, because here is a trick actually that I forgot to mention. Let's.
You're automating our website, huh?
They have a nicer frames than this.
Let me guess, it's this Emma CRM?
No, it's not. It's maps. Maps.
Oh, I see. Yeah, right.
All right, guys. So yeah, we have 5 iframes, right? And some of them are hidden, some of them on part of the other ones, but we are looking for this map, div ID, right? This one. All right, perfect. So let me skip this one. So you see it's like full HTML3 here. And all right, this is our iframe for this element, right? So here is two ways to identify to say Selenium in which frame you want to switch. The first one is to find ID or name of the element of the frame. So because we don't have any ID or the elements, I mean, we can do like a match by the CRC as an example. But honestly, I can't see any good identifications here. Another way is, so each frame of the page, they have a unique index, right? And you can like select it by the index. So here we have 5 of them, right? And how to find this index? It's a good question. That's how we need to figure it out. Well, I believe like it's all sorted by in an HTML tree. Like whichever comes first is like 0, and they all start in 0 and comes like 1, 2, 3. So whichever is like a higher level, it will have a 0 index. And let's take a guess, actually. Let's take a guess that this frame has the first one. Yeah, this is like you see, this is the first element that's found here. So I can assume this is that has an index 0. I mean, I will still check it just in case, but from this point I can probably assume it's 0. All right, switch to not window but to frame, right? And let's pass 0 index. All right, so we are switched to frame, and we need to find this ID, which is the element under this frame. So what I can do next, I can just type find element, copy paste. All right, let's check if it works.
Should you comment? Oh, I see.
Yeah, just for a breakpoint. Come on, intelligence. All right, let me move it here. And that was fast. And see what's going on here. It still failed because it says no such frame exception. Really? Let's see what I missed. Frame.
It says by name or ID map div.
All right, let's try one more time. Because I assume maybe frame wasn't loaded. Like all the frames wasn't loaded, and that's why it failed. Let's see what will happen right now. All right. Test. Right. Wait, why is it? All right, guys. So here is the solution. Let me relaunch my IntelliJ IDE. Let's close this one because I believe it's my IntelliJ IDE issue. All right, we have a clear state. now. No processes are running. Let me. Wait, where is this? Is this one? So you know what? Let me comment this out and run on the regular mode. Stop and run. All right, I see it's passed. Yeah, so it's open on my laptop window, so that's why you guys haven't seen how it's running. Well, it passed, and what's actually telling us while passing? Guys? Why it's passed?
It's found.
Hmm?
It finds the element.
Under this frame, right?
Yeah.
So it's identified this as a frame by the index, which is 0,
Yeah.
which is like main first frame.
Inside of it.
Yeah, it's inside of it. It's found the map div element, which is the ID for the element, right? So basically the same idea. If you want to check on the different window, as I showed you, you can also like under this window specify all these actions and find it as well. The same, yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's like the same logic for the windows, even like for alerts, right? You still, like, as you remember, we still use switch to method, and we kind of like interacting within this alert and pressing the buttons, right? All right, guys, do you guys have any questions about it? Let me actually do one more
Is there
test.
any problems to find the index of or frame? Or is usually
Yeah, let's
easier?
try not to use index. Let's try to.
Yeah, I would stick to ID if possible, or any other locator. Indexes are just in general kind of don't tell you much.
Okay, so this is we can try to identify it by this URL, but like again, it's still like not that stable one.
You can just use maps Google.com. It's probably a single element on this page.
It has multiple frames under this frame, so they probably all have this. Okay, let me try. Let me copy that. Copy link address. And here, let me add the square brackets.
You can use area label. Do you guys know what area label is? Can you guess?
It's the others. No?
It's label of area.
Coordinates, altitude.
No. Yeah, you probably don't know that, but it's something related to accessibility testing.
Oh, that's scary.
You haven't done it? Accessibility testing?
Yeah. No, I mean,
you didn't?
For my project. No?
We have in our project.
Right? Am I right?
No, maybe.
Maybe.
We have area.
Is it the area where you switching pressing tab when you're in voiceover mode?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how voice. What's the term? This special software that reads all the labels for people with like impairments. So they don't use mouse because some of them are blind. So they use tab, and the only way actually to know where they are is read them, the labels and stuff.
I mean, it's the one part. The second part of that, you just need to verify the tabbing. After you tap, it's like frequently switch to the elements in certain order.
Hey, Dennis, do you have test cases for that?
No, we don't have any test cases, but we have to comply with 508C. Our application is a federal application. So
Guys, can you speak a little bit up? I can barely hear you.
You cannot hear us, or only me?
Both of you.
Oh, both of us?
Okay, let me check the settings actually.
Yeah, maybe it's like
Where is my right here? All right. Speaker. Yeah, it should be it. Okay, let's do some quick testing. Is it better, guys?
Yeah. Yes, much better.
Much better? All right, so I switched to my Mac mic instead of this one, which is weird. All right. But in this case, we won't be able to put my laptop to the middle of the table, which was the action item from the previous one. But yeah, let us know if you want to hear the people from the class who will repeat the question. Sounds good, guys?
Yes, thank you.
Do you want to finish what you were saying? Finish? Do you want to finish? You were saying that's compliance and...
No, that's
Okay.
just it. So we have a couple of different applications. One of them is JAWS, and another one is watch this movie JAWS, right? About these guys, sharks. And then another one is NVIDIA. So those are voice readers. Actually, 15% of customers have some visibility, so it's actually pretty big audience. 15. Like it's like 1 billion people or something, right? So yeah, that's why it's kind of important. It's mandatory for federal applications and for some other applications like American Airlines, for example. I believe it's all in compliance with 508C.
Well, it failed because I went to the documentations to see like what kind of parameters it's accepting. So we see it's accepting the integer, right? Which is the index, I believe. So it also has a string and also has a web element. I believe this string is only for IDs or like for something. So we will need to first find this element and pass it as a parameter, right? So how can we do that, guys? We just say the web element, frame p equal to driver, find the element by CSS selector, and pass the selector here. Delete it and pass here, semicolon, and pass this one here. Oh, sorry, not this one, here. All right. Does everyone understand what I just did?
Yes, we just not using the index, we're using another selector.
Yeah, we basically passing the web element to identify the frame. Let's try to run one more time. Perfect. And it works. So yeah, you can also pass web element in the frames to identify it. All right, any questions, guys? So usually frames, they are third-party kind of like elements on the web page. So in real world, like because it's a third party, you don't really need to check like all the elements are present there because it's provided by the third-party services. Basically, all you need to do, like just to check this frame is present, and you don't necessarily like need to go under the frame. You can just verify like frame is present, and everything else like provided by someone else is kind of out of scope of testing. I mean, like let's say if on this page, right? If we want, like, if we want to verify, where is this? If we want to verify, like, let's say the address is appeared, right? We can go to under frame, find these elements, and identify it there. But let's say once, like, let's say if you go to work and your work test will fail because the address is not appeared. So it's not like your company's responsibility to do that, right? It's all provided by Google Maps. And I mean, you can like report to the Google Maps to ask them to fix it, but it's kind of like out of scope of testing, right, for your project. What's up?
You don't have to test it.
Yeah, you don't have to test it. You just need to identify this basically map is here, invisible for user, and that's it.
I'm sorry, short question, but how can we automate the script so it identifies that it's exactly a map, not something else under that particular locator?
Well, you will need to find, yeah, you will need to check the inspect it and to see. I mean, well, there's like no certain elements identifying it's a frame, right? So it's all generated by some JavaScript things, right? Using like libraries and like libraries. I would say just one way is to find any attributes, but yeah, just an attribute for a map and that's it. But there's like no special attributes for the map itself. So basically, iframe itself, it may have a map or generated by JavaScript without like any identifications, or it can also generate like a, I don't know, like a picture or like video. And if it doesn't have like anything else, like you cannot like identify if it is. Okay. Right? Yeah. So this is a tricky. So basically, you're kind of like trusting Google to like. So there's like services will never go down, and but again, guys, it's out of scope, basically. Yeah, so another thing is like all testing that we're doing here, it's basic, most of them are functional, right? We're verifying the functionality. There's like, you see, there's maybe a lot of styling issues. You can see the element, but it may lose the styling, right? It may use a different color. So we're not like going that deep because it's kind of like too much, it's kind of like out of scope. There's another techniques in web automation. How can you do that? One tool, it's called pdiff, page difference concept. Like I forgot what's the other name, but this tool was implemented by Google, and what it's doing is it's like this tool was built specifically to automate UIs. So what it's doing is on the first run, it will go to this page, it will take a screenshot, save it, and on the second run, it will go again to this page, take a second screenshot, and just to compare it from previous one and to the new one. And if there are like any mismatches in the pixels, it will just highlight all the mismatches. We actually were about to show it on the meetup with my presentation, but because it wasn't ready in the tribe, they said, okay, let's just postpone it for the next one. But this is like really cool. And the problem here, because it's a UI elements and there's a lot of dynamic stuff, and of course, like it will, I mean, this text may change, right? Let's say in our deans.com. Let me actually Let me open the real browser, not the driver. Where is it? Let me move it here. Let me move it. All right, so basically, so all these elements, they are dynamic, right? It's all customizable and it's all dynamic. So these strips are showing because they were set, customized to be showed. And that's why it's like you cannot completely automate even this screenshot comparison tool. There still need to be like someone who will just scroll all these differences and see like if it's expected, if it's or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you, like, let's say like for the functionality for Selenium test, you can like automate it, and if it's passed, and if your test were written with like hard assertions, like you can like trust your test, and you kind of know, okay, like if it passed, like I can be sure that it's working. But for UI, you still need to do like verifications. Yeah. So that's why automation cannot replace completely manual work, unfortunately for now. All right, that's out of scope. Yeah, go ahead.
And fortunately for manual testers.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't mean that you will need to focus on it, right? So this part may take you like, I don't know, like just a few minutes, and the other thing, like it's maybe like only 10% or like 5% of testing, but the other part, like 80%, may be automated and should be automated, right? Alrighty, back to the topic. So do you guys have any questions about the frames? How to work with them? Oh yeah, so you can also switch back to the default content from a frame as well. It's the same, I mean, yeah, again, the same idea as you work with Windows. All right, so JavaScript executor. This is this one is fun. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, because Selenium works with browsers, right? And browser naturally, like you can like write anything on the browser, but eventually it will translate everything to JavaScript, right? And sometimes like you will have you will face an issues that you will need to use like a JavaScript in certain cases. Actually, like in my first company, like in California that I joined, our application was a customer support chat. And we didn't have our website. We just integrated as a frame our chat to the like to AT&T or Verizon, or like, I mean, at any websites. It was all customizable. We like customized it for like different customers based on what they need, and it has like really complicated business logic sometimes because like it was focusing on the sales, so it's collected a lot of user data, and all this data was stored on the JavaScript variables, and like it's kind of like the logic was built like, let's say if you're on checkout page, right, and if you're like a member user, you may have like a different identification, right, for the user, and like in my case, I needed to check if like specific JavaScript variable appeared on the page, like a chat should be like launched, right? And sometimes I needed to force some JavaScript changes within my Selenium test and verify it's present. I mean, in this case, I used JavaScript. Or another example, you may have like a certain cases when you will use JavaScript variables for analytics or for tracking, right? And in these cases, you may not identify them for the users because like websites, they don't want to expose like all this information. There's like no need for it. They're just storing it on the site, like all information about yourself, what you did. And I remember like so even like when we check it manually, we still run this like a JavaScript commands to verify this JavaScript has this value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a really nightmare cases when you will need to check like 100 pages, and all you need to do is open the page, run this like manually, like let's say open the console, right? Run the JavaScript, verify the JavaScript variable, close it, go to another one, do the same thing. And I just like wrote this custom script for Selenium. Just open the browser, go there, check it, and go again. And I'm pretty like 100% automated my work. Yeah.
I'm doing some happy.
Yeah, it was like fully like really like stupid routine work that was like really good candidate to automate, and I did that. Yeah. And it was, the thing is, I need to create like custom framework because it wasn't running in CI. It wasn't like checking the functionality. So like you just like passed URLs that you need to check, and it just open it then one by one and checking the variables that you're passing. Yeah.
So you can access console in Selenium?
No, you can just use a JavaScript executor, and it will like execute this code. Yeah. Alrighty, go back here, go back here. Yeah, so, but here is the thing, guys. Here's the trick about JavaScript. So you can do pretty much everything with JavaScript, right? You can write your tests, so you don't really need to, I don't know, like, let's say if you have a calendar and you need like a drag and drop, instead of using like complicated action items when you like moving your mouse, clicking to the element, moving to another date, like releasing it, performing, and doing all of the stuff, you basically can just write like JavaScript command to do it for you, and it will move it without like any interactions. It will just move it within the page, right? But this is a really bad practice, because in Selenium tests, you will need to, you're basically emulating the user's actions, right? You will like be as much to the user as it's possible. And that's why if I see like some of the, like someone cutting a, I don't know, like edges by adding like a JavaScript code, instead of implementing it manually, I usually reject it and ask like, hey, can you like use can you actually use like methods to move to your mouse to the element, drag and drop, release, and do all of the stuff. And use JavaScript only for certain cases when you know like you cannot do that for sure, right? Because the functionality may not work for users, but it may work when you like use like a JavaScript commands. Yeah. And JavaScript itself, it's completely different language. It supports OOP concepts. You can, again, as I mentioned before, you can write the whole framework using a JavaScript. And I'm not sure if you heard, there's another framework. It's called Cypress, I believe. Have you guys heard about it? Cypress, no? Do you guys, so you guys saw our presentation in our meetup, right? For Appium versus native frameworks. So basically so we have a Espresso native framework for Google, which like basically checking the code level, all the functionality, and allows you to access some of the built-in Android methods. The same for an XUI test. Appium is kind of like Selenium, right? It's just like a top level. And Cypress, it's actually a native framework for React pages. So what they're doing is they're just checking the code level only on Chrome, and that's it. Yeah, so I mean, JavaScript itself really powerful.
Because it's for Chrome only, so probably it's not really
yeah,
useful.
I mean, you see, well, why Cypress is popular, right? Or why XUI test is popular, or why Espresso is popular? They are popular because developers who writing like React pages, they like Cypress because they're using like a React, right? And the concept for the Cypress is kind of the same. So it's for them, it's easier to start to write on the native framework rather than like learn Selenium, like to see how it's working and set everything up. The same for Android developers. They can just use Espresso and continue to write tests on their familiar language, which is a Kotlin or Java or anything else, right? So in your cases, you don't need to know much about the JavaScript. You will just maybe sometimes need to perform simple actions like retrieve variables, or in this level, it's fine, right? And that's it. So let's actually remind. We already covered it, but let's do it like one more time so you will refresh your mind how we done that. Let's actually delete this, and so let's actually go to our main project, which is at dns.com. All right. So what maybe do you guys remember how to invoke a JavaScript executor? How to initiate it? All right, I'll remind you, it's you need to initiate it by specifying a type first. So it will be Java script executor equal to the, so the variable name would be JS, the object itself equal to Java and we will need to pass a driver, and we will need to specify the here and semicolon. That's how we initiate the JavaScript executor. All right, and after that, we have a JS object. And here, what we can do, well, let's just do a simple action. Let's just like scroll to the page, right, within the page. So to do that, as you guys remember on this slide, let's use the execute script. And how do you pass it's actually, so this JavaScript file, if you are returning some of the value within your JavaScript command, you can actually store it in your Java code as well. You can actually, okay, let me finish this. So for scrolling in JavaScript, there's like simple code. It's called window. Windows scroll by, and passing the coordinates, which is 0, 600. Yeah, let's see if it works, and then I will tell you a little bit more about this. What I forgot to add, right. Well, I already performed it, and as you can see, it scrolls. For some reason, it's opening it in my laptop window, not here, but let me do it again. Stop. Okay, if it will open it here, I will try to move it faster so you will see the scrolling part. All right. Okay, I didn't catch it, but you can still see here that it just moved to this like middle of the page, and it's actually scrolled. And now you can actually access to these elements, and you can like, click on it or interact. Actually, I believe someone already used this JavaScript executor on their test when they needed to access to elements that was like under the viewpoint from here.
Yeah, when I reviewed Nadia's code, she really uses.
I'm not surprised.
Azad, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is it 600? So that's the height, right?
It's I believe it's x coordinate. But yeah, it's a height, probably.
Okay, so how do we know what is the maximum? Like, if we need to scroll down to the particular part of the web page, for example, how do we know what is the height? What is the certain height we need to scroll down to?
That's a good question. Well, the first option you can like test passing the different parameters and find one. Second thing is you can get the size of the window, and so once you will find the resolution of your window, like dimensions. Well, I would say how I did that, I just like randomly pick the numbers and until I get it, because it will still like would be, wait, why I have two ones? Let's actually open it and go to the console, copy this one. Oh yeah, so I need to pass it here. Yeah, you see, it's still scrolled here. Well, I would say here is a, well, actually, I don't remember if Selenium itself has a method for scroll to the element. I think it's a custom method. So basically, how can you you can like implement custom method once you will like scroll a bit until the element is appeared, and if it's appeared and visible, you can just like stop this element, stop the scroll. That's actually how I implemented scrolling for the mobile application, because there was like no standard one, so I had to create a custom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense, guys? Yes. Oh, yeah. So what I also wanted to add, because it's JavaScript, right? And do you guys remember that, like in Java, we are returning something. Like let's say within the methods, we can create a method and we can return a string, integer, or maybe sometimes we can return the object, but pretty much anything else, right? The same for JavaScript. You can also return a JavaScript itself within your script. And let's say if you want to get JavaScript variable, like a value of the variable, you can like specify return type here within your JavaScript code here, and you can like store. Let me actually open this. Well, this is an interface, okay, but basically what you can do, you can specify a string, string from script. And it's complaining. Let's see why it's complaining. Oh yeah, maybe you need to specify as an object, and after they specify the object, and from that get a string. So what I want to say here, you're basically not only execute something and go after that. You can like retrieve the variables, right, and work with it. Sometimes you may want to set, you can like pass variables within your JavaScript code, right? Let's say if you are, you can actually like not hard code these dimensions, you can like pass them dynamically, right? So basically just cutting all the script string and passing these variables dynamically. Let's say, let's actually, I don't remember much JavaScript, but let's say it can, if I do, wait, if I do simple operation, it may return 8, right? Let's do like really quick test. If we are passing this script, we are just calculating 3 plus 5, which will return 8, right? And let's print it. System. Print Evan. And pass it here and here. All right, perfect. All right. Oh no, I don't need this string because I want to print this object. Let's return it one more time. Okay. It's not here. Yeah, all right, guys. I don't remember the syntax in JavaScript, but basically, if you're specifying a return statement, it will return something. In this case, it returned null because we just performed some calculation, but we didn't return the number, right? Yeah, but I'm just want to say you can do that sometimes, and sometimes you will need it in your test if you're like doing like some really complicated JavaScript interactions. But again, this is only do that if you need it. If you don't need it, like don't use it. Try to emulate it as a user. Okay. Any questions about the JavaScript executor, guys? Is everything clear?
For now.
For now?
Yes, for now, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, you can actually play around with that. Maybe a research in okay, so you already kind of like know, like we're learning a Java here, but still there are a lot of things in JavaScript. I mean, it's completely separate language, there's a separate syntax, but you still can, you know, like Google it just for yourself to see how can you implement it. And you can try to find, I don't know, like a simple code that will return some of the valuable. And check it here. Actually, let me check it here. So you can basically Google JavaScript return a string, right? One line code. Return string. You copy that. Go here. So if you want to put it in one line, I need to delete this part, I believe. This. Alrighty. All right, let's see if it works. Okay, it's still not running anything. Yeah, there's probably something wrong with my code. So yeah, I'm not like JavaScript expert guy, sorry. But again, like I'm just you can like check and see some of the return statement in JavaScript that you can like work and interact. Perfect, perfect. We
Azat, I have
can.
a question. Could you please give us an example, except scrolling, how we can use JavaScript?
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Except scrolling, right? That's a good question. So what we can also do here? All right. All right. Here. All right, let's switch here. Let's. All right, guys, let's first test it on the console, because the console here, it's an online compiler for the JavaScript code. And you can basically test your script right here. Let's say, let's inspect this element. All right. And go to the console. And here, what we can try to do, we can get this text, right? So if you want to interact in a JavaScript within this page, so you'll need to specify the document that you're currently on. Then let's say get element by. So we have ID, class name, tag name, and s. Let's see for this. All right, so it has an ID, right? Let's pass it here. Get element by ID, and let's pass ID here. And then within this, we can text content. I believe. All right, this email address, it's a placeholder. It's not a text. Let me actually maybe this one will work. Okay, login queue text. It has a class. Let's see if this unique class name. Put it here. Close this one. Inspect. Command and here. And that was our class, right? So let's be more strict. Say class equal to this. How many elements are here? Okay, perfect. This is a unique element and we can use it. Let's copy that. Let's go here. Let's open our console. And we need to use a different method because it's not ID, it's name. Get element by class name. Let's pass this class name. So this is a class name. We don't need to, it's not like CSS, so we can delete that. And let's get text content, right? Text content and the semicolon. Wait, really? Get element by class name. Let's go back. Yeah, should be fine. Guys, I can give you I can try to search because I really need to refresh my JavaScript knowledge. And yeah, I can provide you another way. How can you do that? But basically, again, I haven't used it much, JavaScript executor, because again, it's a bit practice, but I mostly use it for the retrieve some of the elements that are not visible for users that I cannot do another way, right? All right, does it work for you guys if I will do it later?
Sure.
Sure. Fine, good example. All right. All right. This one is the Java executor part, and next thing is the cookies. You can also interact with cookies in Selenium. Yeah. Do you guys know what the cookies is?
Kind of. It's something in the browser.
Yeah. Why do you need it?
To see
Session.
Information.
Yeah.
Actually, they save some information. Maybe typing something, the address, whatever they save it.
Well, not
So-
maybe not for addresses. Yeah. Actually, my answer was right. It's basically the session. It stores a session.
Yeah.
By session, I mean let's say if you log into jeans.com, right? You close in the browser. If you reopen the browser again, you will see you are already logged in, right? So it's remember your last state, last session. And how browser knows that you already logged in, it's checks cookies. And based on that, it just keep the state of your logged in state. And that's why we use cookies. It's not only for authentication. Let's say for many e-commerce applications, they if you're using a coupons usually passing by parameters in the URL. Let's say if you saving the cookies, it's also usually saved on the if you're saving the coupons or gifts or like something else, it also saved on the cookies, and browser kind of knows that you're like applicable for this. Right, and how we can interact with the cookies. Well, there's actually maybe a lot of cases when you will need like cookies. Let's say you have an e-commerce website, right? And after you passing the parameter to the URL, you need to make sure that your coupon is saved on the cookie. Or the simple way to, after you log in, you will need like a new state in your browser. Like let's say if you don't want to close it and open again, you can basically just perform delete all cookies and refresh the page. And here we go, like you have a clear state, right? And all the cookies will be like generated from the beginning. You can also add cookies. Okay, guys, what do you think you will need to add cookies? What for? Okay, while you're thinking, I will grab some more water. I will give you like example what after that. Why. Here we go. Any guesses? Online people. Here's more of you online than on-site, so you need to be more active.
Maybe to create new user access, like admin access, to inject their admin role.
Yeah, that would be like one of the good example. I mean, scenario itself like seems complicated, but yeah, sometimes you just may want to like manually set cookies instead of like generate them to see like if you have like all the access. It's kind of like advanced level. So why back in the days when I worked, like when I haven't moved to California, I wrote a script, like a performance script. By performance script, I just generated a lot of users. Basically, I just generate a lot of GET calls to the server, right? And to access for some of the parts of the page, like I needed to check like admin role, admin panel as well, right? But it didn't allow me to do anything until I will have like admin rights. And the way how I identified it, it just checked my cookies. Like if I have this cookie, it gave me the access. If I haven't, it just declined all the requests. And I knew like, okay, so this is generated cookie and it won't expire like for 24 hours, right? So what I did is just wrote a script to generate this cookie, basically to log in, to grab one, to save it. And I reused this cookie in my performance strings test actually. So I add this, I mean, the funny thing is like you just check it once. It haven't like checked like how many users using it at the same time. And that's basically allowed me to work for 1,000 users at the same time during my load test using the same session for the same user. Yeah.
Do you use it a lot, or is?
No, it was just one special case. But I just wanted to give you an example. How can you do that?
So this way is advanced technique.
Yeah. I think like Dennis also told me like another case when he used it. Let me think like any other cases where you will need to do.
Do you guys have any interview question about cookies, JavaScript, or something?
They may ask you like, okay, let's say you want to like interact JavaScript variables, right? How can you do that? And you say like using the JavaScript executor and running it.
Yeah.
For cookies.
I mean, I think it's the thing what you can Google if you need it.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I just want to say that you can do that, and like this is.
Yeah, but it's definitely a good thing to know the basics. That you actually can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the tasks that you want to perform. within your company. And let's say if you want to do like some really advanced stuff, and you will need, okay, how can I do that? And I mean, yeah, I agree. Like most of the work, like once you have a task, like the first thing you will do, you will just go to Google to see how other people implement it and do it on your own.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have like already like completely ready working code snippet, right? And just copy paste and it will just work, right? So yeah, most of this case is done by Googling as well. All right, guys, let's show you the code example how to work with cookies. Let's actually use a simple one to delete all the cookies, and let's actually log into the page, delete the cookies, refresh it, and make sure like you're like logged out. All right. Let me open this. All right. So I believe we already having methods for the login page, right? So this means all I need to do, delete this, go to login, and so we already have a page object. So do you guys remember how to initiate page object? So you're specifying the type, login page, login page equal to new login page. All right. And now we're in this login page. That, yes, I misspelled it. And here we can use the enter email. So before that, we will need to have a user who will already be registered. Let me test mine just to make sure it's working. All right, it's not working. Let me create a new one. Yes, Pro. Right. All right, so I register user. Let's pass the email here. This will be Pro.io. Add a semicolon here. Let's pass login page, enter password. So I believe my password was where1 here. And the last step, what we need to do is we need to submit, right? Let's add it here, the login page. Right, so we are logged in here. So what we will do next? We will need to we will need to delete all cookies. So as you guys remember from the previous example, you will just need to pass. We'll need to pass here driver as well. Driver manage delete all cookies. All right, so for that to be applied, after I delete all cookies, I will need to refresh my page, right? Do you guys remember how can I do that?
Driver manage refresh.
Yeah, and other way?
You need to refresh your page or what?
Yeah. You can just go to the same page, to the home one. Or you can use, I believe it was Oleg who said, you can just use a manage refresh the page method as well. But they're both doing the same thing, right? All right, and now let's set breakpoint here. So basically what should happen is after refresh, you should not be logged in. So it stopped here. And as you guys can see, like it has login button and sign up button. That means it's delete all the cookies, and that's why we are not logged in users. Make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, any questions about cookies? Or if you don't have any questions, we will move forward. Browser size. All right, I know some of you already work with sizing their browsers and their tests. But what you did, guys, you just like maximize it, so you will have like all the elements. Because by default, I believe Selenium has a resolution 80 to 60, if I'm not mistaken. And all right, so again, like deans.com, it's a responsive design website. And it has, if you squeeze it for the mobile view, it will have this drop-down menu, right? And you can actually inspect it. And so it's still visible. Yeah, you see it has a class mobile drop-down menu. But I mean, here is it's not showing it until the certain resolution breakpoint is set, right? Only after that, it's showing that. How can we access the mobile view? It was already being said that we need to change resolution for our browser to a certain dimension. How can we do that? Let me delete this. Let me delete this. And we don't need this as well. Or in our test, let's see if this element is present. Because it's a mobile drop-down menu, if it's a desktop view, it should not be appeared. But the important thing is to understand it will still be on the page, but it won't be visible for a user. And because it's not visible for a user, do you guys remember which issue most of you been faced while you try to click to the not visible elements, or like elements that was not visible at certain points? So you set like explicit wait until elements visible and all you have to click it. The same idea here. If you are not squeeze the window, it will throw the same exception. Driver find element by CSS selector plus equal to here. Let's not use the full match. Let's use the partial match. Let's delete this. And yeah, that should be sufficient. All right, but before that, we will need to squeeze our window, right? How can we do that? So we still need to use a manage method. So we will need to specify driver, manage, manage, and the method to squeeze it. Let me find it here. Oh yeah, it's a window. Here we are setting size or position. Position. Dun, dun, dun.
What is the difference between size and position?
So basically, position and I believe it's not size; it's a dimension, right? So
size was there.
Size was there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see, like the first one accepts point object, and the second one accepts the dimension object. So basically, this is two different objects that's basically doing the same thing. They like both accepting coordinates and just like passing it, right? There may be like slightly difference how they handle some of the things, but in our case, it would be the same thing. Let me actually
clear.
All right, let's pass here like let's pass it as I don't know, 60 to 40. Okay, I cannot set it as a string because it's point object. So I need to initiate the point object first. Let's say point P, put new point. Yeah, I need to temper it first and pass it here as 60 and I believe I don't know if it's X. Let me.
Maybe it says size. It's related to pixels, I guess. Points should be like something different, like 6 for 600 and 4 for 400. Just an example. No?
Maybe. Let me see my notes first.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Oh, okay, I need to pass it as the integers, right? Not the string. Oh yeah, perfect. So here we go. Hmm? All right, let's see. Well, let's see if it works, and let's see which resolution, like if this breakpoint has a mobile view. Let me run the debug. Well, it didn't squeeze it. Let's set the lower one, 40 to 400 to 200. And let me close this one, so we won't be confused by the windows. Well, no luck. Let's see what I missed here. So I'm setting this position. All right, let's check something else. Let's pass on. Let's not use points. Let's use set size, right? And we will need to declare the new one. Okay, let me find it in my notes. All right. Let's see if it works. Oh, perfect, okay. Let me run it one more time. Stop and rerun.
Oh.
Perfect. Yeah, and we see the drop down here. So I assume if I comment this out, stop everything, and run from here, it should pass, right? Close mobile return video. No. Oh yeah, it did pass. Nice. And if I comment this out, it should fail because it won't be visible for a user. Use regular size. And it's waiting 15 seconds to be failed. Now you see, guys, why to set that like long timeouts. It's a bad practice. You just need to wait until it passes. And yeah, and what it's saying to us, no such element accepted, unable to locate element. And it's unable to locate it because this element is not visible for users. Make sense? Do you guys know like which, like how to do like a mobile test run? What to use? Perfect.
I mean, it's the same thing that we just need the change size of the window first.
Yeah, that's it.
And probably change some locators.
Exactly. And not even that, you also need to change the test logic in some cases, right? Because login button and sign up button, they're not appear for a user.
Yeah.
You basically need to add one more step to click to this hamburger menu and only after that to click on it. All right.
Azat, may I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How often is it that test results are different in responsive mode and on real device?
Well, in our company, we have a separate like test suite for like different cases for the mobile view specifically, because the business logic is different. I would say in most cases it's kind of like the same, but sometimes you may have these issues that we just saw about when some elements are not present.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on how your website is designed. It's like, let's say if you squeeze it, it may be completely different website, right? And it's like everything will be like built. And once you stop squeeze it, it will just like transform and be like completely different view.
No, I mean that we saw different results in squeezed responsive mode, in mobile dimension, right? In the web browser and on real device.
On the web browser, on the real device, if we
No. We run test suite in desktop in that mode. What mobile mode, right? Responsive mode, and run the same suite on real mobile device, and we saw different results.
So you're saying if we like what? Let me open the browser. So you're saying if I use this simulator, right? And if I just squeeze the window, like what's the difference? Or like
no. If you use this simulator and you test something, and then test the same thing on real device.
Or on the iPhone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah, result may be different because you also have a. Well, if you use the Chrome on your phone, results may be different. I mean, because you're not emulating the hardware, right? You're just like emulating the Chrome. So your iPhone may have it has a different hardware, and the application like Chrome itself for your iPhone, it's actually a separate application, not the same as this one. You may have some like not matched behaviors, but it's like really rare cases, I would say. But like in our company, we are, for like mobile view, what we are doing is we just like opening in the browser, squeezing the windows, and that's how we're running. And we never had an issue when it's passed and in real device it failed. I mean, theoretically it may be, but it's like really rare case.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, guys? No?
Yeah, but I would say if you see something like that, you should really log a defect.
All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, probably you already have your homework assigned, right? So do you think it will be challenging for you to use these methods within your tests?
I think it should be okay.
Yeah, I think that too. The challenging part would be for you to find the case where you will need to use it and it will make sense. Yeah. Yeah, not to
But
be.
for practice purposes.
Yeah. All you need is to practice and to implement by your own. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Yeah. Finish your previous assignments. Finish this one, and don't be lazy. Yeah. Don't push your homework to check on Friday night. Yeah. Because I'm only one person who's checking it, like, and I'm sometimes like I'm really overwhelmed. And yeah.
But in other case, it's just almost impossible to do it other days. Like, for example, we got the homework today. While we're doing it a couple of days, then it will be reviewed by someone, and there's other days except Thursday.
I mean, yeah.
For you, yeah, you have really busy nights on Thursday and Friday.
That's true. Yeah. But again, guys, I don't have a clear answer, like clear action items that the issue was brought out, like about the process for the code review and UAT. All you need to do is just ping person, hey, can you do that? And I mean, okay, so for now we kind of like more like in a soft mode. We're not like punishing you for not like closing the sprints. But in real work, like if your work is not done by someone else, like you can just say like, hey, I did it, but nobody reviewed it. You need to be like more proactive and ask someone to do that. It shouldn't be a blocker. I mean, if it's kind of blockers like this in the teams, that's you have an issue with the team itself.
In company, it's different, I guess, because everybody is really working 8 hours. In our case, it's opposite. Everybody
15
working
minutes.
Yeah, everybody
What?
working 8 hours on their own project, and then they have like 15 minutes a day.
Yep. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining. We will see you all on Tuesday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. What's up, Magat?
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Yeah. I thought it was a question. All right. We have a chat match. Okay. And let's end it.